All right, we are going. All right. Like to welcome everybody to this tremendous event we got going on tonight. And like I said, we was all, me and Josh, we were all talking. We're this is to encourage the men to actually work the business. First, let me tell you, my wife Tavia Foster, she started a business at first. She was the she went with it. She the one decided to do it. I was not with it at all. I didn't know what was going on, but she went with it and she became very successful in it. But I didn't get the vision maybe to like my second year going into it. I was the husband in the beginning to where I was just the account basically. I was just the guy that was just a name to where she had to basically fill my box every month. And I caught the vision when I had actually went to my first conference, which was her second conference, and it went from there. The light flashed, and I'm like, okay, this is a great opportunity, and I took advantage of it, and I went with it. Me and my wife Tavia are both triple diamonds. We've been in the business for 5 years. I've been in the business for three. She's been in it for 5 years. I didn't get into later on, but and we just went from there. But we have Josh Parker in the building with us tonight. He's an Ambassador Diamond. Him and his wife, Amber Parker, are Ambassador Diamonds, the highest rank in the business. All right. Um, I'm going to go ahead and start with you, Josh. Tell us how you guys got to where you are today, right now, and what motivated you guys to keep going. Because a lot of times you can get discouraged and you can quit. What motivated you guys to keep going, and how'd you get to where you're at?
Yeah, so thanks for having me on. Welcome everybody. Thanks for being on and investing this time into your life, into your business. We started in 2012 and we didn't know anything. We knew nothing. Amber saw the wraps on Facebook. She wanted to try them. She was we have two kids. They're 9 and 12 now. But we had two kids at the time. She just had a baby, our son, about a year prior. And so, she was trying to get back in shape. Get her body back and all that. So she kept seeing the wraps on Facebook and was skeptical, just like everybody else. She was like, "These won't work," but you know what? I'm gonna try them. So she tried them, worked great. And my wife was a hairstylist prior to It Works, and she really loved the process of women coming into her salon, her being able to transform their hair, and them coming in feeling a certain way and then leaving a certain way, right? When women go get their hair done, they come in not feeling super awesome or whatever, and they leave just feeling like $1,000,000, because they got their hair done and all of that. So, she loved that process. She loved being able to do that for women. And, this business, when she started the business and started using the products herself and introducing the products to other people, it was the exact same process. People come in, they want to lose weight, they want to tighten up their skin, they've got XYZ problem. And what we're able to do is provide a solution for that problem. And it's great. It's awesome. It feels good. Anytime you can help somebody out and provide a product or provide a solution for that person, it's a pretty cool feeling to be able to do that. So, when we got started, we didn't know anything, like I said. All we knew is that the products worked and we liked helping people. So that was one thing. And the other thing was, when we started the business, we really had it all in our life except money. Like, we were deeply in love, we were healthy, two beautiful babies, good families, good friends. But this is 2012, and I was in real estate prior to the collapse of the whole housing market thing. So that's where we built our life prior. We got married in 2006. I was doing mortgages, making good money. We bought our first house, had our first baby, started our life depending on that income. And then the housing market crashed and all that went away, and so just like most people, we were able to keep our house through that. But we built up debt, and we were barely scraping by. And that's really where we're at when we found It Works. Great life, except just broke. In debt, barely making it. And so we knew two things. We knew the products worked and we liked helping people. And we knew that we needed to make a little bit more money in order to get by. And really that was our why. that was all we wanted. We wanted to make a little bit of extra money, and we wanted to continue to help people. And so we got started. And you know, Amber was so excited about that process of helping people out and helping them feel better in their bodies, especially women, empowering women, helping them feel better in their bodies. And so that's how she got started. And you know, within 8 months, hit triple diamond, presidential about a year after that, and then ambassador about a year after that. And you know, at first, when I first started in the business, my why was to help her. And so, like a lot of men, you know, I was just looking for a way to help her. I helped handle the kids, handle the house. I helped with some, you know, reports in the back office, stuff like that. But really, mostly I took things off of her plate so that she could put the time and effort in to make this business successful. And so that's kind of where I want to start. You know, as a man in this business, there's really two ends of the spectrum. You can be way over here, and you can be, you know, discouraging your wife and beating her up and yelling at her for being on her phone, and you can belittle the company and belittle blah blah blah. You can do all that on this end. And then on this end is you can go all in. You can encourage her, you can take things off of her plate, you can post. You know, I'm going to go over the KPIs. If you're wanting to get in the business and actually build the business yourself, not just support your wife, you know, just supporting your wife, that's huge. That's right here, kind of in the middle of the spectrum. If you can just support your significant other, ask her how you can help out, encourage her, tell her she's doing a good job, notice her when she's working hard, notice when she's learning and growing, and when she's getting uncomfortable and you know, working through all the obstacles that we have to work through. That's amazing. And if you can just do that as a man in the business, you can significantly change the trajectory of your life and your family's life. Okay. So that's kind of in the middle. And then on the other side, if you can do all of that, and you can post, and you can look for, you know, tell people about the products, tell people about the business. If you can have conversations at the store, or, you know, drink your greens at work if you're working a job, or, you know, do all of those things, then that's really, you know, the top end of the spectrum. And that's really kind of where you've worked your way, right, Brandon? You've kind of worked your way through the spectrum. That's how I did.
I was on both ends of the spectrum, man. I was to the point to where, you know, I'm like looking at it like, damn, you on your phone all the time. You know what I mean? And I'm sitting here with the kids all day, you know, complaining. But when, like I said, once I got to actually understanding the business and knew, you know, what she was doing and, you know, the process she was going through, I'm like, okay, now I get it. Now I understand why she's on her phone so much. I understand because her being on her phone is helping us out tremendously. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
It's helping us to the point to where, like, you know, we're now taking advantage of our time now, because it was a point in time where, you know, the only way to get extra money was for me to work overtime and for her to get a second job. You know what I mean?
Right. Yeah.
And definitely, I totally get that, both ends of the spectrum. I totally understand that.
Yeah. And so wherever you're at in there, like, don't beat yourself up. Just know that the more you move up towards this end, the more successful you're going to be. And I'll tell you right now, any guys that are listening to this, if you're discouraging your wife, if you're beating her up for her failures and you're like making fun of her or whatever, if you're doing any of that, she just won't make it. Like, just being successful in any industry and in any business, any small business, anything that you're doing, guys, it's tough enough to be successful in that. But if you don't have the support of your spouse, it's really almost impossible. And so if you want to have any chance of having your wife make a big impact and be successful in this business, then you've got to encourage her. You've got to notice her when she's doing a good job. You know, even if you don't feel like things are moving as quickly as you would hope they would at first, if you feel like she's investing more time and effort and energy into this business than she's getting back, what happens is, let me draw a little thing right here.
Yep.
I drew this the other day because I was on with a group of people. This is kind of how success goes in this business. Like right here, maybe most people, like you could be putting in a ton of effort, right? And you only get this little bit of growth. You just get a little bit of growth at first, and you get a little bit of growth, and you get a little bit of growth. But let's say that each one of these is a month, okay? This month, you put in the same amount of effort, but you get a bunch more growth. And then you get down here a couple months later, you're not putting in any more time. You're not putting in any more effort. You know, you're not expanding. You're not working 36-hour days. That's impossible, right? You're putting in the same amount of time, but as you go, you just get a lot more out of the business, because you learn. You figure out what works and what doesn't work for you. You figure out how to put your personality into the business. You figure out how to communicate. You know, you start using the products and you start having a personal testimony, or you get your personal results, and that gives you more confidence to talk about the products. You get excited about the products. That helps you get excited. You know, maybe you paid off a credit card, or you're paying your mortgage with your It Works check. That's going to make you more confident. That's going to make you excited to be able to tell the guys at work that, hey, you know, I don't even have to pay my mortgage this month because our It Works business paid for it. Or, you know, that covered our grocery bills, or that covered, you know, it starts getting crazy. Like, guys are going on, you know, $5,000 hunting trips, you know, dream hunting trips, or buying a new truck, or buying a big house, or whatever. Like, all of that stuff, it doesn't matter what it is. It's the exact same thing as this chart. Everything starts to grow. So you start doing a little bit, whatever you can do right now, I would say do that. If it's just supporting your wife and, you know, encouraging her and noticing her when she's doing stuff, that's awesome. If that's all you can do right now, then do that. If you can do that and help out with the kids, then do that. If you can do that and help out with the kids and help out at the house and post on your Facebook, then do that. You know, as you move up that spectrum, and the more that you do, the more you invest, just like her, the more you get out of this business.
Definitely. Now, I know you guys talking about the products in the beginning, and that was a big issue. Well, not a big issue, but that's what kickstarted me, because I started with the greens. And you know, like I said, I was a skeptic, and I'm like, wraps, really? Okay, forget the wraps. I don't want to try to wrap or tighten nothing. But let me try these greens because I want to put something healthy in my body. And that at that time, before I'd actually started, I was borderline diabetic. So I'm like, I got to do something different. And my primary care physician was telling me the same thing. Like, you got to do something with your diet. Something you're missing. You got to do something different, because you're going to be on the verge of taking medication. So I'm like, all right, okay. So my wife told me about the greens, and I'm like, okay, you know what? I'm going to do the greens. All right. And I did them literally faithfully every day for an entire year. And I went back to my doctor that next year, and she basically was like, what have you done? Because now your blood levels are amazing. I'm like, really? I'm like, seriously, you know, because I didn't, you know, I wanted to, you know, I just want to see if the greens actually work, the products work. And when I went back to the doctor, she told me, you're good, you're fine. Keep doing what you're doing. Don't change anything. You keep doing. I said, wow, the products are amazing. Then I was a believer after that.
Yeah. And that's really all it takes. I mean, if you can just find one thing that you love about the business, whether it's a product or the income, or, you know, just that your wife has an opportunity to get out of the house and has more friends, or whatever it is, or you do personally, you know, whatever it is, you can use that and start building upon it. Really, the only reason that our company, you know, the network marketing in general is like 60% male. Our industry, the industry that we are in, is predominantly male. The reason that our company is predominantly female is because we started with the wraps, which were looked upon as a female product. They weren't. They never were. The wraps were never a female product. Who likes having a six-pack more? Women or men? Who hates love handles more? Women or men?
Oh, you know,
I would say it's pretty equal, right?
Yeah.
Like, it was just looked upon as a female product for some reason. That was the mentality that people had. And so, you know, women jumped in first and started having a big time success. Well, now with the way that our company has reinvented itself, the wraps are still amazing. I still use them. You know, we still talk about them and stuff, but primarily we lead with nutrition, with coffee, with supplements, which is a multi-billion-dollar industry, and you know, is not favored towards men or women. You know, men and women love being healthy, love being fit, love taking supplements equally. So there's zero reason why a female can be more successful in this business, even in our company, and it works, than a male can. You know, we have an exact equal opportunity to be successfdon't if we still did lead with the wrap. What I used to tell men all the time when we did lead with the wrap is, you know, women don't really have any problem buying from a man. I mean, you look at any industry, in the clothing industry, fashion, movies, any industry that's out there, you know, men sell to women, women sell to men. I don't know why there's a mental block. I mean, I get it. I was the same way. I'm not saying that I was gung ho right into the business right off the bat. You know, I never discouraged my wife. I always encouraged her. I always did everything that I could to help her be successful and to tell her I was proud of her. And I tried to notice when she was doing something important and when she was stretching herself, when she was learning, you know, when she was doing the work and putting that work in to be successful for our family, for my children, and for me and for her. You know, I always encouraged her and told her that I was grateful for that. So I was never down here, I was here. But then I slowly, just like everybody else, I slowly worked myself up to where I started taking products that I loved. I started telling people about the products that I really liked and that I was having success with. I posted my before and after pictures. You know, you look through my Facebook, we've been in this 8 years now. You could look back and see, you know, the different times throughout the years that I posted my before and afters, and we can all laugh together at some of them. But you know, that was it for then. And then we started making good money. Our mortgage started getting paid for. I talked about that. You know, we sold our house and built a dream home. You know, I talked about that. We started being able to take vacations and, you know, do date nights and started paying off debt and stuff like that. So no matter what it is, if you can get excited and start to talk about the different things, the different blessings that you have because of this business, you know, it can really take off pretty quickly.
Definitely. Now, I do got a question for you. And I know a lot of people, you know, probably feel the same way I feel because, you know, in the beginning, you know, you don't know where to go. You don't know where to start. You get frustrated very quickly. You got this mindset to where the business is supposed to, like, you know, just, you know, pop off quick, you know. What can you tell some of the new distributors that just joined us? How can you tell them to stay encouraged and to hang in there and to keep working and being consistent with you when first joining this business?
Okay, great question. So there's a little bit of a magic formula, I guess, or you know, there's an alignment that happens when we see success in this business, and part of it has to do with us, and part of it has to do with our market. So if I join the business today, and I don't have any background in nutritional products, I don't know anything about network marketing. I'm from a small town. I don't have a market. I don't have barely any Facebook friends. I've never really talked about anything like this or anything really other than my, you know, maybe I post about my kids a handful of times on Facebook, no Instagram. You know, if that's my situation when I start, it's going to probably take a little bit longer for me to start moving up this graph because, you know, you've got to get excited about the product. You've got to get excited about something. Mm-hmm. And so you may have to take the products for a while and fall in love with them in order to be excited enough or confident enough to talk about them. Mm-hmm. Then once you're confident or excited about something, you've got to have some people to talk to, mm-hmm. Right? If you're in a small town, maybe you work with two other guys, you know, whatever your job is, you only have two guys to talk to and you have no social media following, then even if you're really excited, then, you know, you don't have anybody to be excited to really. And so it's going to take a little bit of while for you to build up your market. And so that's why the KPIs are so incredible, because it really builds every single area that we need to build into in order to have that secret formula. And I'll just go through them really quick. Mm-hmm. So these are the KPIs. You guys can download.
Hey, Josh, I was like, Josh, real quick. I was like, can you explain? I was just about to say, can you explain what a KPI is? Because a lot of these guys may not know what they are. And it is one of those things where it is a fantastic piece of paper.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. So KPI is a term used in business in general. It's not unique to It Works. It's not unique to direct sales. KPI is used in all businesses, and it stands for Key Performance Indicator. And it basically is, it basically says, okay, if I'm going to be successful, what's leading to my success? Okay, what am I doing that is directly leading to my success? Somebody might do a lot of things. Sometimes people fall into the trap where they feel busy all day, but they're not doing the things that actually help them be successful. And so a key performance indicator says, I am successful, and these are the reasons why. These are the things that I'm doing that are helping me actually be successful. Okay, key performance indicator. And so these are, if you're wondering what to do, you know, number one, all of this stuff is support your wife, you know, encourage her, all that stuff that we already talked about. But when you're working your way up the spectrum and you're wanting to work the business, these are what you want to do to actually work and work the business yourself. So the first one is to show yourself making a product on Instagram or Facebook, and talk about that product in your stories. Okay, that's one. So what that's doing is that's showing people that you yourself are using the products. You can tell a little bit about it, talk about the benefits. That will get them excited about the product. Okay. Make a post about your personal story. Okay. When you're talking to people, if you're just sending them advertisements all day, people don't care. People get advertised to on the TV, billboards. People are advertised to all day. And the reason that they're going to buy from you is because they know you and they like you and they trust you. Okay, and so we want to talk about ourselves also when we're posting on Facebook or Instagram. We want to talk about our hobbies, things that we're into, our kids, our families, trucks, guns, mountain bikes, whatever you're into. You want to talk about that, and then you want to tell your story, like, hey, you know, this is where I'm at. This is where we're at. This is kind of our family situation. This is where we are right now. This is where I've been. This is where I'm at right now, and these are some of the goals that I want to talk to. These are some of the goals that I want to accomplish. Okay, so that's number two. Make a post about your personal story, past, present, and future. Okay, go to your Facebook friends list and pick 25 people, sort from newest to oldest, then like and comment on their pages. Okay, if you do have a lot of people on your Facebook or your Instagram, you guys have heard the term algorithm. You want to make sure that the right people, so that when you post your stories and when you make a post on Facebook, that the right people are seeing that. You know, if you have 1,000 friends on Facebook and, you know, it's mostly your wife's friends that are in the business already that you keep seeing over and over again. Those are the people also that are seeing your stuff over and over again. And you can't really advertise to those people. And so you want to go interact with people. Basically the people that you want to sell to or that you want to bring in the business, you want to interact with their Facebook or Instagram pages so that they see what you're talking about. Okay. Go to Instagram, click following, and sort by the most recent. Like to, comment to for 25 people. So that's the same thing. You're interacting with the people that you want to, that you basically want to bring into your business, so that the advertising and talking that you are doing is being seen by the people on your social media. Share someone's corporate approved picture. So if you've got corporate approved pictures of a product that you've been using, post those. That's great. If you don't have one, you know, you can go to my social media and grab mine. You can go on Pinterest or somewhere, you know, those are all over the place. You can grab Joel Dunn's before and after. He's got a bunch on there. And you want to post those. Message 10 people about the customer option. Message 20 people about the opportunity. Add a minimum of 25 friends on Instagram and Facebook. That's every single day. Post stories on Instagram and Facebook about coffee samples, and post 10 host a post 6 out of the 7 days per week. Okay. So kind of the formula is be excited about the products, be excited about the opportunity. Okay. Then you want to tell people about that. So you've got to have a market. You want to add to your market and grow your Instagram and Facebook following every day. If you're not really big into social media, then if you're more of a person-to-person type of guy, then you can talk to people at work or talk to people at the store or wear a It Works shirt. People love to ask you about, you know, what works, or, you know, whatever phrase you have on your It Works shirt. The point is you want to be excited about the product or the opportunity, then you got to have people to talk to. And a lot of times, you know, a lot of times we don't talk to somebody one time and then they just say, okay, yeah, I'm in. Most of the time we have to kind of, they have to see our stuff over and over and over again. They have to get interested. They have to start to trust you. They have to, they want to see, you know, a lot of times people join a company like this, they're in for a month and then they jump to another company or they quit, you know, and people have seen that over and over again. So sometimes it takes a little while for people to trust you, trust that you're going to be in this, trust that you actually believe in it, trust that, you know, that it's real. And so going through and doing those KPIs every single day will help build that trust, to help build people's excitement. People will start to get to FOMO. They're like, man, I want my mortgage paid for. Man, I want to, you know, have more energy throughout the day. I want my brain to work better and be able to think more clearly. I want to lose weight. I want to tighten up my skin, whatever it is. You know, I want a new truck. I want to go travel the United States in a fifth wheel for a year. You know, whatever it is, whatever you're into. What's great is when you are yourself, and when you start talking about the things that you're into, and when you start bringing the blessings of the business into that, you know, the people that are watching you will relate to that no matter what you're into. You could be into something that's crazy out of this world. You could, you know, you could be somebody that doesn't believe that we actually landed on the moon. And there's thousands of people out there like you that don't believe that we actually landed on the moon, and they'll relate to you because of that. It doesn't matter. It honestly doesn't matter what it is. When you're yourself and you talk about it and you bring the blessings of the business into that, the blessings of the products, then people relate to you and they'll follow you and they'll want to join you.
Definitely. Now I do got another question too, which I think a lot of us can relate to also. You know, we get when we start a business like this, we have the other people's opinions affect what we have going on and kind of discourage what we have going on, in which we get that from our friends, we can get that from our family, closest people to us. What would you tell, you know, some of the new distributors, you know, basically how to, you know, to withstand that and kind of stay strong and kind of keep pursuing the business and the dream that they, you know, that they set out to do?
Okay. You basically have two options when it comes to this.
Mm-hmm.
You can completely ignore people like this, which is sometimes the best option. It just depends who it is. If it's somebody that's important in your life and you want to keep in your life and you actually care about the, you know, that person, you have a really good relationship with that, then that may not work. But most of the time, if it's people from high school or, you know, that you don't really interact with anymore, they're not really your friends, then people like that I just ignore. You know, if they keep at it and they keep posting dumb comments and stuff like that, I just block them and move on. So you can do that. Or the other option is just to realize the truth about what we're doing and then be able to speak to that truth confidently. So I don't care who you are. Anybody could come to me right now and try to clown on network marketing. And I know how amazing this industry is. I know what we're into. I know the blessings that come from this business and from these products. And, you know, I can speak to any question or anybody's uneducated outlook on what we're doing. Okay. And you have the opportunity to do that too. It's not going to come right away because you may be unsure yourself. You know, you might not know if this is going to work for you guys, or, you know, you guys might've been working at it for a little while and it's not going as quickly as you want, or, you know, X, Y, Z. There's only two types of people that have a negative opinion about network marketing. 95% of them are Karens that joined thinking they could do nothing and that they would get paid. Then they did nothing and they didn't get paid. And so now they're bad talking and going on social media, bad talking, right? That's 95%. The other 5% is people that, you know, there are bad apples in our industry. Every industry, there's bad apples. There's bad doctors, there's bad lawyers, there's bad car salesmen, there's bad politicians. Every single industry, there's bad apples. And unfortunately, there have been people in our company or any other company in our industry that do mislead people or tell people, you know, you can join and do nothing and you'll just get rich really quick. It's a very small percentage, luckily. You know, it's a small percentage, but there have been people that have invested money into something that were misled. And, you know, that's really unfortunate, but we have an opportunity to educate those people on, you know, what we're really about and what the actual opportunity is. But 95% of people either heard from someone who heard from someone who heard from someone who heard from someone who heard from their aunts, friends, uncle that, you know, what we're doing isn't real and it's a scam, or they joined, didn't work, and instead of being accountable for their own lack of work, they just want to tell everyone that it doesn't work. You know, it's a scam, whatever, blah, blah, blah. So, you know, you can speak to that, and anything that anybody brings up, you know, you can do some research and have a response to, if you feel like responding, if you feel like educating people and putting them in their place professionally. So you can take that route, or you can ignore them. But, you know, any industry, if you talk to anyone that's been successful in any industry, they will tell you that they had haters, they had doubters, you know, they had people clowning them and friends that they grew up with that made fun of them and told them it wouldn't work. You know, a lot of times our family members discourage us to go after our dreams. And that's actually out of love. They really just don't want us to, you know, waste our time and money in something that they don't believe in or that they don't understand. So, you know, they love us, they want the best for us. And so they try to discourage us as a way to try and maybe protect us. But, you know, if it's somebody that really is in your life that you care about and that you have a good relationship with, just have a good, quick conversation with them. Be like, hey, this is what I'm actually doing. These are my goals. You know, I've got a great mentor that has XYZ blessings from this business. I've seen it, it's real. But these are my goals, and I would appreciate it if you would, you know, either encourage me or shut up. You know, and if you can have that heart-to-heart chat, you know, if that person really cares about you, then they'll honor that request from you. And if they don't, they probably don't care about you that much. And then you can go to the default of ignoring and blocking.
Definitely. You know what? I'm gonna open the floor. I done asked so many questions. I'm gonna open the floor to anybody. Anybody got any questions they want to ask? No? Okay. Well, I got another question in.
Bring it on.
Yeah, I'm about to say I got a whole bunch of questions. All right, now, you know, when you first start this business, you know, the mindset change. You know, most of us grew up to where, you know, we had to go to school, we had to go to work, and then we won't finally live until we retire, which is a generational mindset. That's what, you know, a majority of us been taught. What would you say, and how would you what would you say to like a new distributor that has that same mindset, to where, you know, maybe, you know, I'll work the business here and there when I can, and, you know, not put their all in it, or they have it to where they have, you know, their hats in a lot of different pots. You know what I mean? And
yeah.
You know, Matavia said something to me that made so much sense to me. They can be the jack of all trades, but guess what? They're a master of none of them. You know what I mean? What would you say to some of them individuals to kind of encourage them to take this business a little bit more serious?
Yeah. So the first part of that question, I think, is becoming easier and easier, because, you know, the way that our parents grew up was that you just, you know, you go to school, you go to college, or you get you know, you go into a trade, then you find a job, then you stay with that job for 40 years, then you retire with a nice pension and you sail off into the sunset. But that's not our world.
Mm-mm.
You know, that's not our world at all. If you look back at the last 10, 20 years, so many people that have followed that, that plan that we've been taught, you know, they're hurting bad. You know, there was always the stable job, the safe job, the stable company. And, you know, what we found more and more, especially over the last 10 years, is like, there's no job that's safe. There's no safe job. There's no work for a company for 40 years and then right off into the sunset with the big fat pension. It's just not reality anymore. And so, you know, it's up to us to kind of break out of that mindset and realize that, you know, it's becoming more and more evident as every single day goes by that it's up to us as individuals, as men especially, to develop the skills and capability to be able to create something that we are more in control of. And that's what I really love about this business is no matter what, you know, we talked about that person that has all the disadvantages, that doesn't have a following, never knew about the company or product or anything, you know, starting basically from scratch.
Mhm.
Even that person can very, very quickly build a following on social media, learn the skills to talk about the products. All the product information's there. You know, when Amber and I started, we had no upline. The person that enrolled her straight up told her, I will sign you up, but I'm taking a break from the business. I will not be here to help you. And, you know, that can be frustrating for some people, but for us, it was a huge blessing because we learned everything on our own. We researched documents. We read the comp plan over and over and over again. We jumped in and we read about products and what the ingredients were and why they worked. And, you know, we even read the policies and procedures. We didn't know what the rules were. We had nobody to go to. And so we read all that stuff, we researched, and we found it all out. And because of that, because we had to do that, and because we did do that, you know, when our team came to us, when we were mentoring people, we had answers. We were able to direct them to know where to go to get those answers. And so anybody has everything. You know, we have so much in this company now compared to what we had 8 years ago. There's so much available that any person, no matter what their background is, where they live, what your social media status is, what your strengths, what your weaknesses, doesn't matter. Any of that stuff can be overcome. You just have to put a little bit of time into doing the research and figuring all that stuff out so that you yourself have an opportunity to create success through this business. And, you know, there's so many people that you can look to that took the other route initially before finding it works. You take our number one income earner, Joel and Stephanie, you know, I love that they're the number one income earners because they are the poster child of following the plan that we were given from society, from our government, from those around us, from our mom and dad. They went to school, they bought businesses, they started gyms, they got into real estate that was supposed to be bulletproof. You know, they did everything the way that the world teaches us to do things, and then they lost everything. They lost everything, and you know, stood in food lines and had to get very creative with selling things off in order to feed their family. And that's the state that they were in when they found it works and when they started building this business. And they had never been in network marketing before. They didn't know a ton about, you know, products or building that type of business or anything, you know, and now, you know, they're making over $100,000 a month. So I think they did pretty good. And so, you know, I'm not going to tell you to quit your job today or even a year from now once you're making $5,000 a month or $10,000 a month. What I am going to recommend that you do is that you work your way up as quickly as you can up that spectrum to where you're contributing as much as you can into this stream of revenue for your family. If you're still working full-time, that's great. You know, I was still working full-time after we were making $15,000 a month. I still worked a couple months after that. I'm like, you know, I'm going to double dip for a little while and get some of this debt paid off. Right. So I worked full time for the first 9 months that we were in the business, or 8 months that we were in the business. And, you know, Amber was bringing home $15,000 a month and I was still working, and I was making, you know, at that time, pretty good money too. So we did that for a while until it made sense for me to quit my job, knowing that I would be able to come home, still support her in the ways that I was supporting her before, and start doing the other things that we do to be successful in this business. I started training distributors. I started teaching compensation plan. I started helping her out with Zooms and trainings and back office reports and all of that stuff. And so I would say start today. Like if you're working full time, which I'm sure a lot of you are, you know, keep working full time, keep supporting your family that way. But in the meantime, learn about the products, do the KPI, start building your Instagram following and your Facebook following or your Twitter following, whatever platform that you prefer. Start building that following, start taking the products, see the benefits, see how you feel, talk about how you feel, talk about those blessings, start filling your tank up with gas from your Airworks money, start talking about that, you know, and then, you know, it can really build into, there's so much security in what we do because we can control, you know, how hard we work, how many hours we work. The company's debt free. It's not going under anytime. people always want to be healthy. They'll always want to lose weight, and they'll always want to make money. From Adam and Eve's time till the end of time, people will always want to lose weight and be healthy. People will always want to make money, and be healthy and look good. Just human nature. I mean, we have every single thing that, you know, we hit on all of the main goals and desires that people have. New Year's resolutions, you name off all the top New Year's resolutions, we can help people hit 8 out of 10 of them, right? And those are the same ones that people have been using for hundreds of years. It'll be the same ones that people continue to use for hundreds of years. We want security. We want to be debt free. We want to be able to support our family. We want to have energy, be healthy, and we can help people with all of that.
Yes, definitely. Now, what are some of the self-development tools you've used over time to kind of, you know, broaden your horizons and kind of open your eyes a little bit more to the business, or even just personally? What kind of self-development have you, like, is that reading, audible books? What have you been doing?
So I got into personal development in 2010.
Okay.
I was selling home security door to door. You want to be in a tough industry, go try that for a couple of years. I did that for 2 years, and you know, that's when I was introduced to personal development and start reading books. First book I ever read was by a gentleman named Og Mandino, and his book is called The Greatest Salesman in the World. And it is a kind of a book about sales, but also not really. It's just really a book about life and being able to achieve your dreams and stuff like that. So that was a really good one. And then Zig Ziglar was the second author that I was introduced to. And so I read a lot of his stuff, and his stuff's really good. But, you know, since that time, and during that time from 2010 up to 2012, when we started this business, that's really I only read a handful of books. Since then, I've read hundreds of books. And the way that I like to do my personal development is through Audible. I use the app. You know, we subscribe to the monthly subscription. It's $15 a month. You get 1 credit, so you can get 1 book a month. And you can share it over, I think, 3 devices. So me and my wife, if I buy a book, I can listen to it on my phone. My wife can listen to it on her phone. You know, same for you. If you get an Audible account, you pay $15 a month, you get 1 credit. If you want to buy more books, you can always buy a book. The books in there are like anywhere from $4 up to like $30 a book. Or you can buy more credits. You know, sometimes they do specials where you can get like 3 credits for $30 or whatever. So that's what I do. A lot of people, I would say, just do whatever, you know, whatever way you like to learn and you like to gain information, do whatever works for you. A lot of people do. There's tons of free stuff on YouTube, tons. You know, there's free books out there. There's I think there's a library app on iPhone that is pretty similar to Audible, and you can listen to or read the book. You know, you can buy paper books and read them. I have a handful of books that I wanted just to read, the actual book, so I do that. But you know, there's tons of stuff out there, and you know, if you don't want to invest necessarily any money into it right now, I would go to YouTube. There's tons of stuff on there. There's you know, when it comes to personal development, you really want 2 things. There's 2 main benefits to personal development when you're doing it. There's an immediate benefit to doing personal development. If I do personal development in the morning, it completely changes my mindset for the day, right? I have an immediate elevation of my mindset where I'm more confident, I'm more encouraged, I can more easily overcome obstacles that come my way for that day because I was inspired in the morning, or because I learned something in the morning, or because, you know, I got my mindset ready to take on the day. So there's an immediate effect that comes with doing personal development. That's why you want to do it every single morning. And then there's a long-term cumulative effect that happens with personal development, where you just naturally become more knowledgeable about everything in the world. You know, anything that you're learning or reading, or any type of personal development that you're doing, it helps you become a better person, a better father, you a better husband, a better employee at your job, a better business owner, and it better prepares you to be a leader in this company. And so that's why I do personal development every single day, because it helps me get my mind right for the day and to be confident and to learn something for the day. And then it also prepares me to, I may read something today and learn a principle today that 2 years from now, Scott calls me and he's like, "Hey, Josh, I've got this issue that I'm having with my wife, or I'm having this issue with somebody on my team. Any advice?" And I have that advice for Scott. You know why? Because I read that advice from George W. Bush or from Zig Ziglar or from somebody. I read a book 2 years ago that talked about someone else, a leader that I respect, someone else that had that same problem. And this is how they worked through it. And maybe that principle that I learned, maybe I've used it in my own life over the last 2 years. And so now when Scott comes to me with this problem, I'm equipped to help him work through that problem. And just think about what that does really quick, guys. Like if you feel equipped, let's say you go to work on a car and you show up to work on a car and you got no tools. How effective are you going to be working on that car? You're not going to be able to do anything. You're not going to be able to loosen bolts or do anything, right? Because you got no tools. In the same breath, if you show up to work on a car, the more tools that you have, the more equipped and ready you are to handle that problem that you have. And the only way to have those tools is to build them up over time, by learning and growing and developing yourself and developing your skills and learning from other leaders. And the thing that I love about this is, all of this stuff translates into every single area of our life, whether it better prepares you, like I said, to be a better father down the road, or a husband, to be a better friend, prepares you for, helping your parents as they get older, or a leader in this company, whatever it is. All of this stuff is useful in all of the different things that we deal with as men in life.
Definitely.
Yeah, podcasts are really good, Scott. I like that. I always forget about podcasts. But
Love podcasts. So, okay, I do have one question for you. Now, obviously, like, you've been in the business for 8 years. Heather, my wife's been in it for 7.5. I've been in it for 5. Brandon's been in it for a while. Tavia's been in it for a while. Tell me something. If you knew then what you know now, what would you tell yourself? Like, you have those new distributors that are just jumping in. Like, what are you wanting to tell them? Like, you're looking at it going, I wish I would have done this when I first started. So I want you to do this to get your business going.
I mean, there's a million things that I could say. That's why I'm having a hard time thinking of exactly what the one thing is. But I think that, the sooner you can realize, this is what I'll say. The sooner you can realize that you have an opportunity to do this for the rest of your life and have it tremendously change your life, your family's life, and the lives of hundreds of thousands of other people. Your outlook on everything that comes with this business, your outlook on all of that stuff completely changes, because you're approaching each day. A lot of times that we have obstacles that we have to overcome. It happens in every industry, in every area of our life. There's obstacles that we have to overcome. And, if we approach those obstacles with the mindset of, all right, I have to overcome this obstacle in order to move forward, without the option of running away, then you approach that situation a lot differently. It's the same in relationships. If you're married and you've got 1 foot in and 1 foot out, and an obstacle comes up, you've already got 1 foot out. And if that's a tough obstacle, you may just say, you know what, I'm just going to be out. And then you run and you bounce out, and then you miss out on the blessings of having a healthy marriage and a healthy relationship. And it's the same thing with this business. If you can just go all in and realize that you have what you have in your hands and what it could create for yourself and your family and the hundreds of thousands of people that will eventually be on your team, then when an obstacle comes up, it's not like, oh, am I going to stay or am I going to run? It's like, okay, I've got this obstacle. What do I need to do to get through it and to learn and grow? Who can I reach out to help me through this obstacle? What do I need to learn? What do I need to do to overcome it? And then you approach it that way and you overcome it. And then you just move on and you can continue to build and be successful and continue to enjoy the blessings. I did a Facebook Live in one of the pages the other day, and I had it titled, "Are you a weightlifter or a runner?" And basically the principle of it is, you know, anything that we do of importance comes with weight, right? As a husband, there's a weight on our shoulders to be a husband, to take care of our wives. As fathers, there's a weight on our shoulders to take care of our children. And, you know, if we're going to do anything important, if we're going to have any responsibilities in this life, we need to work out in a way that will allow us to carry that weight. Because if we don't, then we get crushed by the weight, and our only alternative is to run, right? And if we keep running, then all you do is you run from the struggles, but you also run from the blessings at the exact same time. Okay. And so the way that you prepare yourself for all of that, everything that I just talked about since Scott's question, the way that you prepare yourself for that is consistency. Get up and you do the same things every day. You do your personal development. You go through and do your KPIs. You invest in your business. You invest in your marriage. You invest in your relationships. You invest in your social media following. You invest in yourself by learning the products, by learning more about the company. You know, we have a really great, incredible, very unique company because of the owner and his wife are very unique people in their morals and in the way that they approach life and the way that they approach business. We have a very unique company in being debt free. We're not burdened with a bunch of debt. We're not going to go out of business next year because, you know, we're over leveraged and all of a sudden something happens. You know, we have an amazing blessing of an incredible company that we have an opportunity to work for. Learn more about the company. That video that Mark did a year or so ago that's on YouTube that just talks about his story and stuff, you know, spend a day learning about that, learning more about the company. You know, so consistency, that's my short answer to that was a long answer to your question, Scott. Is just, you need to figure out what I learned a couple years ago, you know, after Amber and I really knew that once we knew that we were going to be in this company forever, we knew that we needed to create a lifestyle of living our life and building this business in a way that works and makes us happy and that is joyful for the rest of our lives. What a lot of people do is they make bad habits that are very stressful and strenuous, and they work those bad habits, and they're not taking care of themselves. They're not taking care of their body. They're not sleeping, you know, and they burn out. And then that pressure that I talked about gets to them and they run, they leave. And so you've got to learn eventually. All of us go through seasons. You know, we've had different seasons where we're pushing for big promotions, where we slept less, where we pushed harder, you know, where we spent a little bit less time together. You have short seasons like that where you're pushing really hard, and you can approach those knowing that that big push and the sacrifices that you make during that big push will have huge benefits in freedom of time and time together and opportunities to be free with your money down the road. But you can't do that forever. And so this company and building this business has to become a lifestyle, has to become part of what you know you're going to be doing the rest of your life. And so it's got to be enjoyable. It's got to be fun. And that's what we've done. You consistent, those blessings of the products roll in, you know, that makes it fun. The money blessings come in, that makes it fun. Changing people's lives on your team, that makes it fun. Your customers sending you messages about how the products are changing their lives, that makes it fun. And you know, you got all the obstacles and stuff that comes in with that, and haters and blah blah blah. But you know, you take it all because you know the difference that it's making in your life and the opportunity that you have.
Ooh, that was good. I liked it.
Yeah, it was. So, like I said, anybody else got any other questions that you want to ask? The floor is open. If anybody got any questions?
Yeah, there's no bad questions, guys. If you have something that just like you're stuck with,
I got a question.
There you go.
Yeah.
How much time a day would you dedicate, or do you dedicate to the business consistently? Like, walk me through step by step as far as an ideal new person coming into the business. how much time should you spend like calling friends and family, posting online, or is it better just to post online versus calling a friend? Like, what's more effective
Yeah.
in your
So it
experience?
depends. Yeah, great question. That's a really great question. So it really depends on your situation. Remember, I talked about kind of that great formula of being excited about the product, being excited about the opportunity, then having people to talk to about it. It depends on your situation. So the KPI list, the one that I went through, it's 10 things, and it's designed to be done in 30 minutes to an hour. And what we always talk about is that's kind of the minimum. If you want to be successful in this business, you can do the KPI list in 30 minutes to an hour. It doesn't have to be sit down, work for 30 minutes to an hour, and then go on with your day. It can be 10 minutes here, 20 minutes here. That's how we work our business, honestly. We work, Amber always says, she says this on pretty much every Zoom. We work our business into little pockets in our life, in our everyday life. And really, the way that social media works, if that's the primary way that you're building your business, it doesn't make any sense to sit there in front of your computer or on your phone and be on social media all day. You know, it's most of the time people are just scrolling or wasting time on there. They feel like they're working, but most of the time they're just scrolling and wasting time. So if you get up, do your personal development. This is what we do. This is what we do. We get up, we do our personal development, and then we make our coffee in the morning. We put it on our stories. Hey, I'm making my coffee. These are the benefits of coffee, blah, blah, blah. We talk about it. And then, you know, that's in our stories. And so what's happening with that being in our stories right at the beginning of the day, people are watching that. Throughout the day, when I'm playing with my kids, people are watching my coffee stories, and my business is growing without me actively doing anything. I'm playing with my kids, but people are watching my stories about coffee. Then when you're done playing with your kids, go on there, jump on Facebook, and go interact with some of your friends. You know, what I like to do is I like to figure out whose birthday it is. You know, you click a button, see whose birthday it is, wish people a happy birthday, scroll for a little bit. And if you see a friend from high school that just shot an elk or something, say, hey, nice elk, or whatever. Like, just interact, you know, like people's pictures and comment on their posts. Mm-hmm. So you're interacting with people. And so that 3 days from now, when you post your coffee stories again, your buddy that shot the elk, he's going to see your stories now because you interacted with him. That's what Facebook does. It says, oh, Josh interacted with Tom. I'm going to show Tom Josh's stories because they're interacting. Mm-hmm. That's kind of how it works. So you go, do your interactions, maybe send out a couple messages, send a couple messages to your buddies, say, hey, I don't know if you saw my coffee stories, but I tried this new coffee. These are the benefits of it. Let me know if you want to try it. And then you put your phone down and you go, you know, about your business, go on a date with your wife or go to work or whatever. And then when you get done doing whatever you're doing, you come back to your phone and you've got 3 responses to the 10 messages that you sent out. You know, same thing, your business is working when you're not sitting there on social media or on the computer all day. Your business is still working if you're doing the things that you're supposed to be doing. So then you come home off your date with your wife, you know, you post some pictures in your stories about your date night that you had with your wife. Maybe you paid for date night with your at work's money. You can slide that in there a little bit. You know, talk about how important marriage is to you, whatever. Talk about the things that are important to you. That builds interest, builds trust. It makes you more relatable to other people. They're going to want to continue watching your stories because you're not just talking about your business. You're also talking about marriage and hunting or trucks or whatever you're into, right? Because if people are just seeing you post stories about products and business posts and blah, 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 they're just going to unfollow you, or they're not going to interact with you. And then eventually they'll stop seeing your stuff. So, you know, keep talking about your life and stuff that you're interested in. And you just work it in here and there. And then when you're not glued to your phone, when you're not, you know, doing a bunch of stuff, your business is still building kind of in the background while you're living your life. You know, there are a few things on there that are, you know, sit down and do. If you want to send out 10 messages, you got to sit there and send out those 10 messages. You don't necessarily have to respond to them right away. If you get a response back right away, make sure that you finish your 10 messages before you go respond. Otherwise, you're only going to get 3 messages out. Then you get distracted responding to that one. And then you only did 30% of the work instead of 100%. Get all 10 of your messages out, circle back around, respond to that message. If that person just has some questions, can answer their questions. You can move them along. Sometimes people, you know, I'm very visual, so pardon all my visual things, but sometimes people, when they first get interested in a product, they're like right here. They're interested, they like the benefits, but they don't know you that well. They don't know if you know, if they really like the product. And so you can answer some questions for them. Then they're a little bit more confident. Then, you know, a week from now, you're still posting your pictures and they're still watching it. So that moves them up the scale a little bit, moving towards being a loyal customer or distributor. And as long as you're consistent, answering their questions, following up with them, eventually you'll move them up that scale and they'll become part of your team, either as a loyal customer or as a distributor. And so, you know, minimum, I would say 30 minutes to an hour per day doing the KPI checklist. If you've got more time, then you can interact with more people. You can send out more messages. You can do more host to post. You know, if you've done everything on the KPI, you can invest some more time in learning business skills or sales skills. You can spend a little bit more time in your personal development. You can spend a little bit more time learning about products or, you know, reaching out to other leaders and asking questions or whatever, you know, but I would say 30 minutes to an hour minimum. And then other than that, you know, sky's the limit. The more you do, the more you get out of the business. So if you're like, if you need to just crush it and you need to be making $3,000 by November or December, then I would say probably put in a couple hours a day, you know, sending out messages and building your following, building your Facebook friends, building your Instagram following, all of that. But it doesn't have to be crazy. Yeah, sorry, go ahead. I interrupted.
I'm sorry, I didn't mean to interrupt. So I had a question. Recently, Facebook put a deal on there where they can start, I guess, basically more aggressively remove posts that they don't like. And I'm wondering, how is that going to affect, because they're already kind of policing the way, you know, this type of work gets done on social media as it is. And this is this going to tighten it up more? I mean, how is that going to affect?
Okay, good question, William. Thanks for asking that. So I haven't noticed any negative effects. I mean, I've heard about that. I've heard about some people having, you know, issues outside of our industry or outside of our company. But for me personally, me and my wife, we haven't seen any negative effects of any of that. I think that the way that you avoid having problems like that is to post things that are more part of your life compared to being an advertisement. So I think where people get in trouble is they're blasting before and afters and, you know, product information, you know, long product information posts and back to back, especially ones that have, you know, non-compliant claims, non-compliant weight loss claims or inch loss or any of that stuff that's excessively, you know, talking about the benefits of the products in a non-compliant way, things that are excessive. That's usually when people have issues with Facebook. I know that, you know, they're working on cutting down on, they're basically telling us that we need to be compliant when we already knew that we need to be compliant because we have a compliance department, right? We're supposed to talk about the benefits of our products, and the way that I make sure that I'm compliant when I'm talking about the benefits of our products is 95% of the time, I post the language right out of the product information sheet. Mm-hmm. I don't have to come up with my own stuff. Like if I have something that's personal to me that I've noticed about that's a benefit of the product, I may share that vaguely, but mostly when I'm talking about a product, I open up the product information sheet, I go right to the bullet points, copy, paste, and post them. Mm-hmm. Anything that It Works says about a product is legal, true, and compliant. And so that's generally 95% of the time what I post is what they talk about, because it's already exciting. It's already amazing. I know that it's compliant. I know that it's legal. And I know that I'm not making outlandish claims when I post those things. Great question.
Good question. Anybody else got any questions? Okay, Josh, well, we appreciate you being on here with us, dropping knowledge. This is a beautiful thing. I love, being around people like you that's successful and that's done a lot in the business. So I would like to, first off, thank you for being with us tonight and just, giving us your knowledge because we need it, man.
Yeah, I appreciate you having me on, Brandon. Thanks a lot, Scott, also for the invite. And thank you guys, gentlemen, for being on. You made an investment in yourself and in your business tonight by being on here. I appreciate you taking the last hour with us. Keep that up. Keep investing in yourself, keep investing in your family. And anything else I can do, any questions I can answer, or if we need to do this again sometime, happy to do it. I love this business. We have an incredible opportunity with literally the best company in the world in any industry. I don't care what industry you're talking about. We are literally with the best company in the world, with the best leadership, best morals, best everything. And so it's a blessing to be a part of this. And I wish you guys the best, and anything I can do to help. Any questions, just let me know.
All right. Scott, you want to take a picture?
Yeah, if you're on your computer, that'd be perfect. Because I think you have that ability of making it like that gallery view. So we need everybody to turn your camera on. Get your pretty faces in there. Ready to go and take a picture.
Unless you're in the bath or something, then you can just turn it. Just keep the camera
Yeah.
off.
Yeah, if you're in the bathroom, then maybe not.
All right, I got it. I'm gonna send it to everybody.
All right, good.
All right, hey,
I
thanks
think
for
posted in our
being on.
men's
I
group.
appreciate y'all, man.
Yeah, thanks, guys. Thanks for being on.
All right, y'all take it
Appreciate
easy.
you, Josh.
Thanks, Josh. Have
All
a good
right,
night.
see you guys.
Yeah,
Appreciate you
peace.
guys.
Later.